Okay, so what we're doing today is we're actually going to take a WordPress site and I'm going to show you a WordPress homepage, so a WordPress theme, and we're going to actually put that into Zenler. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that. So it should be a nice one to do. I haven't got Angela with me today, but I was talking to her in a week about other things as well, and I just showed her how she could take her WordPress site and she could put that straight in to Zenler. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to do it. It's going to be some technical bits because I'm actually going to be grabbing all of the images from her WordPress site. Obviously, she would have them, or you guys would have those already. So you would have all those things, but I'm going to grab it using some code, using Inspector, and I will grab that from the actual page itself. So I'm going to start in a second. I'm just setting up final things just to make sure it's all good. And that's all set up. Brilliant. All right. So let's jump straight into the site so you can see what's happening. Now, I've also got a window open on my desktop so I can look at any comments that come in for this. So I'm going to be scooting around a bit. So there's a little pauses and things, you know why. And we're going to have a look at her site to start with. So I'm going to jump into a bit of screen sharing, and primarily I'm going to be just screen sharing this session. Session should run for about 1 to 1.5 hours, something like that. And I'm not rushing. I'm just going to take you through it very slowly what I'm doing here. So if you look here, what we have is we have Angela Luna's therapy site. Now she's changing the name slightly because she is working, she's doing the courses in another site that she's got. So, but she wants to keep this kind of look and feel. She likes this look and feel, and it looks like it was designed by these guys here, Color Grooves, for WordPress. This is a WordPress site. And we're going to be producing this page, so it's really easy. We're going to be using a few kind of techniques to do this because we're going to be grabbing some code because I need to know what size, what font she's using, what size she's using, and these kind of things so that I can put it straight into the Zenler platform. So here we have her site here. So I'm in the admin side of her site. So this is what her site looks like here. So she's set up, it looks quite nice anyway. But we're going to make it look more like her. So she's trying to keep that kind of lighter feel about it, which is lovely. So this is a little bit different, whereas generally I'd be giving you branding ideas and those sort of things. A lot of you I know have already got WordPress sites and you want to do that conversion across. So initially, yes, it takes a bit of time just to set things up, but you can remember, you can copy blocks and you can, or you can save those blocks and drop them into your other pages. So as soon as we've got a sort of form and shape for the home page, we can then go in and put that into the other pages. So I'm going to do that in a second. I'm just going to go and stop my video there so I can share. Okay, so my head won't come up. All right, so let's do this. Right, so initially I'm going to work in a non-destructive way. So I'm not going to work with any of her live pages. So she's given me permission to set this page up. And as long as I don't touch any of the other pages, then she will be fine. So I'm going to add a new page. And we're going to go and call this, I'm going to call this template for this. Okay, and inside here, I'm just going to put a template down. For the name. I'm going to have a blank file. I'm not going to publish the page. I'm going to make sure the page is visible for all users, and I'm going to click add. Okay, so now we've got our page set up so we can start to put our content in there. We're going to have a look at her page. I'm going to close that page down there. I'm going to have a look at her page and we're going to sort of do an analysis of it. So let's look at this page. At the moment, we're not going to work on the header at all here. We're going to be working on the main blocks within this page. So if we look at this and break it down, this first block here is one block. And if you look, the text and everything is on this left-hand side, which means that this side is empty. So straight away, analyzing the site is a really good idea. So I know I need a block in there. I know I need a background image because I've got one here. And I know I need to break this into one row with two columns because I've got a column, empty column this side and a column this side. So that's the first block. So that's my analysis. Let's go down to this one. Pretty much exactly the same. I've got one block that comes right the way down, and I've got two columns here. And then down here, I've got two columns, one row. And then I've got one row here. And down here, I've got three columns and two rows. So that's my breakdown for that area there, which is the biggest area. Next one, I have this, which is one block and one row. Okay, but I'm going to use three rows for this just because I want this to be centered and have control over it. You'll see that later. And down here, I've got one block, and then I've got, again, I'm going to have three columns, and the content will be in the middle column. And that gives me that. So I always like to look at a page first and in my head work out what I'm going to do with it. So this is a really good idea if you're doing this conversion across. There's a little bit of animation going on, and we can produce a little bit of animation inside of Zenler as well. But this is our basic thing. So the next thing I need to do is find out what kind of sizes I'm using. Are the sizes consistent inside the site? So I always like to set up a little WordPad doc to set my kind of branding out. So I've created a little document here, so to give me my sizes and things. I'm just going to pull that off onto my other screen, and got Jacob here. So I think he's copied someone in who might be interested in this little live. Jacob, please remember that this replay will be up afterwards, and it will also go on our YouTube channel. So youtube.com/C/Zenler. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see our live build. So this one will go up later this afternoon once it's been processed. So that's just for your benefit there, Jacob. Okay, so as we're live, yep, got it. Brilliant. Yep, we're all live. That's proof of liveness. So let's go first of all and look at the fonts we're using. So what I use is I use the inspector. Now, by default, we always use a Chrome browser here at Zenler. So I'm going to right-hand click with the Chrome browser, and I'm going to go down to inspect. So inspect can give us information about a page. It can also mean that we can capture things from a page as well. Now, you might have yours docked on the right-hand side or down the bottom, but it will be there. For some reason, my windows have all shut. Not sure why. We haven't had any technical problems for a while now. So I'm just going to check my Facebook group. Sorry, guys, this is this can happen sometimes. Oh, we're still all live. Good. Right. So I'm going to check. So with Inspector open, I'm going to go to this little icon here, and I'm going to click it. And I'm going to come over the top of this. And what you're going to see is some information. So it's telling us that this is an H3, and it is a font size of 36, and we're using Josephine Sans. So that gives me that size. I've even got the color code in there, which is #494949. So I can put that in my little thing, in my little document. So I want to go to 36 Josephine. And I want the color code for that, which is 494949. So that gives me my H1 heading. So that's what I use. I might adjust it slightly, but it gives me a guide. So I'm trying to find out what fonts are being used inside this. So it is a light font as well. And then we got one down here. Now this one is Lato, and it's 23. And you can see there's a little P for paragraph text. So 23 Lato for body text or paragraph text. So P and Lato. Yeah, this just gives me a guide what's going on. And then that's 4949. So I think that follows suit throughout the whole site, that kind of size there. We've also got that in there. Now I can see that's Josephine, 15 pixels for buttons. So a little bit of analysis going on at the beginning of the This is just like, because I'm matching exactly to this, you know. So 15, and then I want that color. What's that color they're using? So I'm going to go over that again. It's going to give me 987880. 987880. Let's just double check. That's it. 987. And that is in 15, Josephine. So I've set that up on there. So it gives me a starting point. Now I can always jump back to this as I'm working on it. I can always jump back and check. Now this should be that paragraph size, 23 Lato. This is in bold, but it's Lato. And that's the kind of size that I'm going to work with. So this is 20, but I'm going to jump back to it. So this is a good way to analyze it. So let's now go over this image. Now what I want to do is I'm going to capture this image that's inside the page here. So we have an image in here and that needs to be captured. So I'm going to go over this page. I'm going to click in here and it's going to give me the little logo in the inspector. Now if I click that, or I click this, it's going to give me the image. There's the image. So I'm still on the page. It's going to give me that image. Now, obviously, looking at the image, there looks like there's an overlay behind it. So I'm going to use an overlay. So to save this image out, right-hand click and go Save Image As, and then you can save that on your desktop. Now, I've already got it saved here, so I don't need to. And the same process goes for all of the other images in here. So again, I'm going to go to Inspect. I'm going to go over this, and where I'm going to select the logo. And you're going to see the logo will come up in there. Again, I can go down to here, click it, and there's the logo. And then I can right-hand click and save image as. So I'm not going to go through all of the images showing you how to do that because I've just shown you twice now, and I'll do it a third time just in case. And you can see that I have my image there, click there, that's the image. And of course, right-hand click, save image as, and then you can save it. So I've got all my images already. I've already downloaded them. So I'm now going to jump into the site and start to put this together. Now, it's a really good idea to take the site and actually, if you've got a second monitor, to actually put it onto a second monitor so that you can then look at them side by side. So as a rule of thumb, I always try and do that. That for me works best when creating these kind of things. All right. So we now need to jump in and go into our new template page that we started. We need to format it all. So once again, I'm going to jump into the page here and we're going to go into this block. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duplicate the block out just because I want empty blocks. Sorry, there seems to be some building work outside. So if you hear any banging, apologies. So I'm going to go into the setting here for this first block, and we're going to come across where it says background image. I'm going to click in here and we're going to upload that image. So I'm going to go to upload image. I'm going to locate my image folder, which I think I've got set up on my desktop. And I'm going to click open and I'm going to upload without crop. So that's the first thing. We've now got our image in there. I can get this and I can just change the height of this in here. And now we're going to put this row in here. So I remember I want 2 columns for this. So I'm going to go add row and I'm going to go 2 columns. There we go. That's the first bit done. And now I'm going to put the logo in here. So I'm going to go into here and we're going to go across to image, upload image. I'm going to grab the logo, which is here. And we're going to upload without crop. And we have our image in there. Now I need to put my text in there. So remember it's an H3 heading. I would generally use an H1 for this. In fact, I'm going to use an H1 because it says what the name of the site is, which is Holistic Expressive Arts Therapist. So I'm going to go in there, going to go and select this. Now you would have set this in your branding. You would have set Josephine for headings and Lato for body in your branding part of the site. So I'm going to go into the gear icon and we're going to manually do it in here. So I want to go and choose Josephine. So I'm going to click in here and I'm going to type JOS and there's my Josephine. I'm going to click that in there and I want this to be in a light. So something like that. and then I need to copy the text across. So I've got this open on my other screen, so I can just put it in there. Okay, now I'm going to refer to this because I want to get the size, remember, the size and the color. So I'm going to get the color first. I'm going to take this, drop it down a line so it's easy to grab, copy it, and we know it's 36 pixels there. So I'm going to go into here. I'm going to go to, it's already 36, that's fine. Don't think it looks big enough, but we're going to change the color. So I'm going to put that color in there that I just copied across. There it is, okay? And then I'm going to hit enter. And we've got that color there. Now I also need to align it, this row. I'm going to align it all left. So I'm clicking that gear icon on the row. I'm going to go to horizontal alignment, and I'm going to put this left. So everything will jump left. Okay, so the next part of it is to create the second bit going down. The second piece, which is a text block. There we go. And this is in Lato. So again, you know, you've got that little guide that you put up. It's 24 pixels. It's for Lato. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to set the size and the color. That's our color that we picked. And we're going to go Lato. It's already in Lato. And we want that size as 24. The line height might need to be changed very slightly. Put it in as 21. Oh, that's a little bit too much. 20. Let's try 24. That'll do. Okay, and then copy that in there. So guys, you can refer back to your site and you can just copy this. I can see it's a lighter text, so we're going to make some changes. We're just putting in the base for this. Okay, it's much lighter, so I'm going to have to go a bit lighter with this. Okay, a bit more. Let's change it to regular. I just want it to stand out a bit more. So it's a bit bolder, it's a bit lighter. Okay, let's make this a little bit bolder. That's nice. And then I'm going to look at where it kind of lines up. So I know that Angela Therapy is bigger. This splits at Arts, which is good. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger this way. I'm going to come across one. So this is where you can just play around and get it perfect. And I'm happy to put this back into light. I might bring the size up slightly as well. Oh, that's about right. I'm going to just take away a little bit the spacing at the bottom. And move this up a bit. I'm looking where her head is in here. It's quite high. So I'm going to be changing the background position. I'm just jumping into here and going into the settings. And where I have this background position, I think I need to make it something like center. That's better. So she's jumped up. That looks better. Okay, now I need to put a color overlay because obviously it's too saturated. So I'm going to go background color. We're going to choose a white, which is what I think it is. And now it should match pretty good. Might change it for a slight bit of orange in there. Just a little bit. Okay, click save. So we've done that first block, just need to put the button in now here. So we're going to put that button in, it says book now. Let's click this bottom one. Inside here, we're going to choose button. Choose the button. At the moment, the button's full width, which we're going to change. So I'm going to come into this and we're going to scroll down to the bottom and we can change that width to normal inside there. And it needs squeezing up a bit. Of course, it's not the right design. So I'm going to jump across design and choose one of these. And that looks good. So I'm just going to now change that font, which was Josephine in here, 15. So let's put Josephine in here. I'm going to make it regular. And I'm now going to change the padding a little bit, which will change the space inside the box. So I'm going to drop this down to about 8. That's quite nice. And now I'm going to choose that color. Remember that color? We can right hand click here and just go down and you can see the color coming up. It's 987AA0. So you can grab that color. So we're going to do that for the text color. And I save that number in my little document here. And we'll put that in for the text color. So here it's going to go in here. Going to hit enter and it will save that little color. Common colors it will save. So we're going to go into that now. Now I do need to put a slight bit of rounded on the corner. So I'm going to put about 8 in there. And now I need to change the text to say book now. So I'm going to come over to the settings here and we're going to choose book now. And then it's a bit big. Okay, going to change the font size to 15. That's not bad. And I also need to push it a little bit this way because it's a little bit far away. You can see there's a little bit of a gap. So I'm going to preview it first. I'm going to save this and just preview what we've got so far. So we're working on the top block, which is most important, really. It's the first thing people see. So I need to move that block just a little bit further along that way. So that's why I love the editor. You can just preview the page and make changes as you go. So the border thickness as well, I'm going to increase to about 2. And I'm going to put a little bit more space in padding space around this. So I'm going to change this to about 10. And probably that's about right. Okay, now the spacing left, I'm going to put a negative value in here. I'm going to put -5. You're going to see it will push over. Did you see that? Just popped over there. So I'm going to save it and just preview it. And that should give us this first block completed. So there we go. There's a little bit more space around there, but you know, no problem. We can change it really easily. Just need to put a little bit more padding in. So I think I'll go 12 here and 10 here. Okay, and I want it a little bit bolder. This is where you can change things if you think, oh, it just needs to be a little bit more, you know, stand out just a touch more. That border thickness, maybe I'll use 3. Click save. And then I might need a little bit more space between here. So I can easily put some space on the bottom of this one to push the button down. So we're going to get that come out and I can just push this down a little bit. Again, look at the site, see how it looks. Refresh this. And you can really play around with this. You can just get it exactly how you want. So I'm going to come a little bit bigger with this, I think. Okay, let's save that. Okay, it looks much better. And I think I'm going to make this white again. I don't like that orangey color, isn't looking good. This is where you can just take your time with it. I'm going to increase this a bit. Okay, so that is how you can do it. You can fiddle around with this as much as you like, but that is the general principle. So now we've got a site that looks pretty much like this, you know, and we've done that really quite quickly inside of Zenler. So that's the first block. So we're going to move down through and do the second block. So we've got the second block here. So we're breaking this down into easy to sort of understand chunks. So inside here, this second block, we're going to do the same as the first, except we're going to do slight bit of difference with this, because what I want to do is I want 4 columns in here. 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns. So I'm going to jump into the editor again, and inside insert row, I'm going to be choosing the 4 column here. And I'm also going to make it full width as well. So inside this particular one, I'm going to come into the settings and I'm going to go on the right-hand side and I'm going to apply a full width. This will spread these out. And the only reason I've done that is because I want control over the spacing, both left and right. So I'm going to take this first one in here. We can play around with this at any stage. And we're just going to kind of drop it into a good place like that. It's not quite nice. And then remember, I'm going to do the same for this one as well. Okay, so now we've got that. I need to drop the image into this. So I'm going to go in, we're going to add the next element. So guys, we're working on this now. So it's slightly rounded, these corners. We're going to take all this text and drop it in there. And I'm also going to be just cloning some of this text to drop down, which we'll tackle in a second. So I'm going to go add element. I'm going to go in now and grab our image. So I'm going to upload my image, which I've downloaded. Oh, maybe I didn't. So go and download it. Okay, no problem. All right, got it. And there. And I'm going to upload without crop. We're going to take this and we're going to give it cornered radius. So I'm going to go into the settings for this. And we're going to go and take the radius and change it. I'm also going to drop the size down as well. So I want a border corner roughly of about 30 for this. So I'm going to choose 30 in here. And that's going to radius my corners. And also I know this is too big, this image, but it doesn't matter at this stage because I'm just going to start to put in my text elements inside here. So what I'll do is take some of this and copy it. So if I go into here, I can just clone this and then I can take this and I can drop it down into this block. Now, if you can't see the block, this happens a lot. You can't put it anywhere because you can't see where the row is in there. So what you can do is you can use a Control- on the keyboard, and this will zoom the page out and allow you to grab it and drop it into the block. It's a little tip that I think works. So if I go down there now, let's grab that one. There we go. And click there. Okay, now the size of this, I think, is a little bit different. So I'm going to check So this is 55 Joss fins. So I'm going to press the Control and 0 and it will zoom us in. And now, sorry, my page is going a little bit bonkers. Just save it. Okay, that's good. Right, and also I want to just click the main row here, and I'm going to go into settings, and I'm going to align everything by the top. So I'm going to go vertical in here, and I'm going to go top. Okay, that's better. And I'm also going to horizontally align everything to the left as well. So that will push that to the left. And now I should be able to go in there. Now that font isn't changing. Sometimes this happens. And it just means that you need to open this up, change the font to a different font. It might be because my machine's quite slow at the moment. So now I've changed that. That should be changing. Let's save it and check. So I'm refreshing this page. Yeah, it's in the right font. That's all okay. All right, let's put the next bit in. So maybe cloning is not the way forwards for this. I'm just going to click in here and use the text. Right, if you get this happen to you, sometimes it's a case that you might have too many windows open. I've got windows open and I'm running a live stream. So my system's kind of having a little bit of problems with it. And this sometimes happens. Luckily, it doesn't happen all the time. It happens with WordPress sites as well, as I've had the same thing happen when I'm trying to stream and I've got multiple windows open. So please just bear with me. And I'm going to close this and reopen the page. You know, we've been running these lives for over a year now, and this is the first time I've had any kind of glitches. And I presume it's my system. I can hear my fan going mad. So I'm presuming it's my system's getting a little bit confused. So I'm going to go in here now and I'm going to go, and we've got Lato already. So I need to change this to the other size font. Also is a bit lighter. Is this Lato or is it Joss Fin? Let me have a look. Nope, it's Lato 23. Okay, now I'm going to copy the text from the page. Oops, let's copy that. I need all my paragraph breaks in the right places. Okay, and so the second bit is work right place. Okay, and this site, you can see we've got some of the text is in bold. So I'm going to put that in bold and choose bold there. And the next bit of text that's in bold is here. And then unearth your life. That's good. Save that. And I want to take that title, glad you're here, which is much bigger. I'll do. Save that. Let's check it. So you notice I jump between quite a lot. I'm just checking as I'm working my way through things. I'm just checking that things are working. So I've got that button again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the button I've got here. So let's jump into here and let's clone that button. Remember, these buttons would be linked to a form or a page. So let's put that in there for now. You can move this down the bottom, grab it, move it down here. And this particular button says learn more. So I'm going to go in here. We're going to change this to learn more. Click save. Check the template by refreshing. To refresh, guys, if you've got it open on preview like this, you can refresh by holding the control key, keeping the control key held down and just hit that refresh. So you can see that that is not too bad. I'm just going to compare it to this site. Yeah, that looks all right. I might need a bit more of a gap. And that looks like there's too much of a gap between here and here. Don't know why a form object has appeared in there. Let me just delete that out. And I'm going to put a little bit more of a gap on the bottom. So I'm going to go into the gear icon. And we're just going to put a little bit of space down there. Now I'm going to take this image, click the image, and you get these little handles. We're just going to bring this down a little bit. Click save. I'm going to make sure it's in line. I'm trying to put it in line with this. Now I know this is a little bit, this is the WordPress site. This is a little bit shorter, it's a little bit smaller. But I think aesthetically, if it's lining with that, it would look better. And mine's obviously a bit bigger. So I'm going to take this image, I'm going to bring this down. Let's try that. Sometimes the preview doesn't show exactly what it is. Yeah, just a little bit. Pretty good. So it all lines up nicely. Now there's a little bit of a gap between here and here. So I'm going to maybe be able to squeeze this in. Oh, it's a little bit too much. Okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to center it. So I'm going to go alignment, center. Perfect. I don't mind that gap, but it was just a bit too much. So that looks nice there. So we're matching, notice we're matching it up. Now I've got this bit of text going in. So we're going to be using this. I'm going to be using probably going to use 3 columns for this, one for this side, one for the main bit, one for there. So what I'm going to do is do a quick little thing inside here. And I'm going to clone it. It's going to give me a second row. Now I'm going to delete the content out of here. And now I'm going to delete this column, right-hand click inside the column, delete column. And I can push this row just across. So it's matching my other row above it. which it is. And I'll do the same this side. There we go. Don't need that. Don't need that. Going to check this text, inspect. So we got 24 Lato. And that's straight 24 Lato. That's good. Okay. And grab that text. So I'm going to go across from here. Close that down so I can grab that into here. Oops. All right. Going to center this, going into the gear icon. Come down to the alignment. We're going to center it. We're going to make this bold. And we're going to italicize this. So I'm taking this and I'm going to just turn on the italics there. And maybe one little more break there. And I'm going to click save. That should have given me that block. So let's check that on the template. And there we go. So we're getting there. A little bit more of a gap on the top. You can see that. So I'm going to come into the row here, go into the settings. I'm going to add a bit more space on the top. So again, you can start to push that away. Probably that's good enough. And now we've got this block to make. So with this block, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same row, but I'm going to put a row inside a row. So it gives me control because I can't set a row that's going to be even with 5 columns. So I'm going to use 3 columns, same as we did above, and I'm going to put a row of 3 in here. So really easy. We're going to take this block. I like to reuse blocks if I can. We're going to duplicate it out, which will put the block down here. I'm going to select that block. Where are you? There you are. And I've got a little arrow at the side. If I click that, it should drop it down underneath. Good. Right, I can now delete this content out, match it all back up and drop 3 columns in there and then duplicate it. So, you know, I like to duplicate things. You probably see that I duplicate a lot of the rows. And the reason I do this is, well, there's 2 reasons. One, it's quicker and it keeps it consistent. And some of those blocks that you're duplicating, you might want to reuse. So you've already in one click by duplicating, you've got those blocks all there ready and waiting for you to restyle up or change. So now I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to go delete column. I'm going to go yes, delete that column. It's going to give me 1 column across here. I'm going to match this to that row here and this one here. And now inside this, I'm going to drop in our 3 column row. So I've put a row inside a row. And sometimes you might need to go back and just change some of this. That's good. And now I want to put my image in there. So I've created that row. I now need to drop my images in there and just put the text underneath. So I'm going to do that with 1 and then I can duplicate. So I'm going to go in here. We're going to choose an image and I'm going to upload my first image, which is like the paintbrushes. So let's go and upload. We should have the paintbrushes here. Click open, going to upload without crop. And are these rounded? Yes, they are rounded. So I'm going to round it and then you're going to see I'm going to clone this so that I can do the rest. So I've got a corner radius. I'm going to do it 30, the same as what I did for the main image. That's good, that's done. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to clone this. It's going to give me 2 images. I'm going to take this one, drop it over here. Going to clone again and drop it over here. And now I'm going to put the right image in. So I've got EMDR1. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to the gear settings, across on the right hand side, and upload the EMDR one, which was this one here. Again, we're going to upload without crop, and it's going to keep that corner radius. So it's saving me doing extra work by keeping those settings. So the next one is a stone. I've got my little stones here. I'm going to click that one. There it is. I'm just going to hit save and just have a look at it. Okay, looks okay. It's a little bit more of a gap between them and there, but I'm going to take this middle row and go into the settings, and I think I'm going to add a little bit of padding. What will happen is it will give it a bit more space. No, actually, maybe inside here. No, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it as it is. Okay, so next thing I need to do is to put this text in here. So you might again have to go down to inspect and just inspect what that size is. So it is in the Josephine, it's 20. This is the H3 size. So I'm going to go in here and grab H3 heading. Let's change it to Josephine. I don't think I want it bold. I'm going to go medium for this one. And then I want to align it center. It's not bad, but just check. You've also got letter spacing, and I think there is a little bit of letter spacing in here. So I'm just going to drop, let's go like 3. That's not bad. I'm going to drop this down to 20. So sometimes it's eyeballing what looks best. So there's a little bit of spacing. So you've got control over the spacing between the letters as well. Obviously, you've got the letter spacing there. You've got line height as well, which is the space between the lines of copy. So you can use all these. Now I'm going to just clone this now. And initially take your time with the first block, because we're going to clone this block out, and then we can just change the images, change the text, and it's done. So it's worth spending a bit of time on this initial block, because when we do the second row, it's going to be so much quicker. So we're going to go into this one now. That's good. Going to go into this one. And there we go. And now I'm going to do the magic. So we got that one selected and click clone. All right. So we have a cloned block. So now I'm going to do this one now. Let's change these images over. We've done the work. We just need to do the replacements. So once again, upload this new image that we've got, which is this one here. I'm going to upload without crop. I'm going to come into here and put the right text. I'm going to move on to the next one, which is, oh, I'm on the wrong page. Blog. Perfect. Hi, Judy. Just seeing Judy on the Facebook page. So there's our blog. And the last one is gallery. And then we'll change that one out of it. So I'm going into here, just going to jump into the image and grab the gallery, which is this one here. Save that. Jump back into my preview page, hold that control key, hit the refresh. We should have our new images appear there. So that looks good so far. Remember, this is all in Zenler. So we need to move to the next part now, which is the page down here, which is here. So what I want to do, because the WordPress site has got book my free consultation, and then it actually takes you through to a contact page, which is here. I'd rather put the form, an inline form inside here. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take this text and I'm going to style it all, but I'm going to just put a inline form inside here. So I'm going to jump back in here now, and we're going to have a new block. So let's go and click this and click in here. And I want to have a new empty block. So I'm going to click that. And then we're going to put in this background image here, which we have. So I'm going to click in there. I'm going to click this little icon, this little gear icon, go over to our background, not the background color, background image. And we're going to upload the little guy jumping. Now, I know for a fact that this image is not actually that big, and it actually pixelates and blurs at the edge. So make sure you get an image that's really nice and big for this, because it is going to be a full background, and any full background should be of a good size. If I mouse over this, you can see, let me just mouse over this little thing, and you can see it comes up dimensions 893. Now I'd be looking for at least that to be a minimum of 1500 rather than 893, because I know on a bigger monitor, when it stretches, it's going to blur. But I can get away with using this at a smaller size because I'm going to put an overlay of white. So you're not really going to see the blurring that much. Now, if we compare that to the very top image that we've got here, you can see that this has a size of 1600. So it's twice the size of this image, and the quality of that image shows because it looks better on the screen, as you will see. So bear that in mind. The WordPress site also has a blurry image. So let me just load this in first so I can move on, and then I can show you. So I'm going to upload without crop. You certainly don't want to crop that image. You can see it's really blurry around the outside. Now, if you look at the WordPress, that is also really blurry, and that is because it's stretching the image to fit on my monitor. And if I had a bigger monitor than this, it would be even more blurry. It's probably going to be okay if I make the monitor small, or it's for tablet or mobile, but really pay attention to that kind of thing. If you look at the image up the top, it's lovely and sharp, you know, as opposed to this, which isn't, because the image size isn't the best quality. So I just wanted to point that out to you. If you say to me, oh, that's a terrible image, that's because it's not the right size. So I'm going to click the gear icon here, and we're going to kind of blur it by using a background overlay. So I'm going to use a bit of white in here, and straight away I've kind of knocked back that look, so it's not looking so bad, you know. And you can change that a little bit more if you wanted to. All right, so we have that. I want to add a new row in here now. So for this, I'm going to add a single row inside here. This is going to be a single row, and we're going to put that in there like that. Okay. I might actually make that 3 rows and then put a row inside. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to add a new column. And then I'm going to add a new column again. to make 3. I'm going to basically reproduce this. And then I'm going to go into the settings and I'm going to change that to full width. Okay, that should be better. And now I can take this and I can move it so that it matches what's going on above. I pay attention to the way lines are running through my site. So I always try and make sure that the content doesn't go in and out too much. A little bit is okay if you're doing it on purpose, but you have to be careful with that. So next thing I want to do is definitely drop in the headings for this. So I'm going to go and grab a heading. Now, I could grab a heading up here, and but I'm not going to. I'm going to just drop in a tag in here. So I'm going to go into here, and we're going to drop in a H3. I'm going to change this to Josephine. The image size of this, I think, was about 50. And I'll change it to that grey colour that I've got there. And I'm going to make this one light. Okay. And then I'm going to type in what it says, which is ready. Okay. Let's drop in some text. This is going to be Lato. Paste that in there. I think it's about 24, something like that. Just going to double check. Lato 30. So, and there's a line break there between the life. Okay, so I just want to show you what the line height does, because it makes a big difference. Like if I've got line height here, and I change this to 50, it's going to be a massive gap between the two. So you can change the line height there. Even if I made it like 3, it's really close. So this allows you to change this around. Now I'm going to make this font a little bit bigger in here, just so it kind of works. And I'm also going to change this and bring it a little bit closer to where it says ready. I'm going to bring this up a little bit. And guys, you can play around with this as much as you want. It's up to you. You know, I'm just doing this as a tutorial to show you how you can put it together. So the next thing I want to do, instead of having this book button, which I could copy across from one of the other buttons, I'm going to put a form in here. So I'm going to create an inline form. So I'm going to go into here and I'm going to go and pick the form, and we're going to click form here, and form's going to drop in. And what I want to do is I want to do it as an inline form. So the important thing about forms is if you mouse over, you're going to see that you have this little purple form block. Now you need to make sure that all your fields being input areas, and your button is inside this form, this purple tag. If you click one of these and you drag it outside, the form will not work. It needs to be inside this purple block. So it does mean you're not stuck with this design, because as long as we keep like a row inside this block, the form will still work. So I'm going to click this element here, and I'm going to go into add a new element. And when it opens up, I'm going to choose rows, and I'm going to choose a 2-column 1 row. Now what I can do, notice that it's that new row I've set up is inside that form block. So I can take this and I can drag it into this new column of this row. And I can do the same with this. And this has created my inline form. There we go. So I now have this. It's still all inside that form block. Pay attention. It's very easy to drag it outside and not realize, and then wonder why your form's not working. And it's because it's not inside that form block. Right, so now I need to just style the button to match what we've got before. So I'm going to put contact us. I'm changing a little bit from the WordPress site, but you can see we can do that. And then, of course, the form would submit. You can tag them, and of course, you could send them into a funnel, or you could add them to an email list as well. You can choose a post submit action. That's what's happened after the button has been clicked. So generally, you would send them to a thank you page. So make sure you set a thank you page up. You can then link to it here, and they'll go to a thank you page. So let's style this button now. So I'm going to choose the same style design that we had before. We're going to go into here and into the style section, and I'm going to pick the colors. I've got my color saved here, so I'm going to pick that. I'm going to change this to Josephine. Let's go to Josephine there. That's nice. And I will give it rounded corners. I think I gave it rounded corners of about 10 buttons. Okay, and I want to make sure it's not full width. I'm going to go normal. Okay, that actually doesn't look too bad. It needs a little bit of padding at the top. I think that was better than the other button. So I'm just going to put a little bit of padding at the top. I'm going to put like 17. Maybe 19. Okay, that looks better. Okay, and I want to give it that thickness of the border. So I'm going to put that on 3. We're going to click save now and check the template out. All right, there we go. So we have an inline form now, and that's going to link. Doesn't match identical to that button. So I'm just going to double check a few things. So it's 18. And 14, 18. So I'm going to go in here and change this. Okay, that's good. All right, so we're now ready to move on to the next part, which is this bit down here. Now, this is nice and simple. It's all centered, so I can create one row, and I can just make sure it's all centered, and then we can just create these elements. So we're now onto the final stages of this. So I'm going to click in here. I'm going to click the little plus button, and we're going to move on to create another empty block, and I'm going to put one single row in there and add my elements inside it. So jumping through this now. Let's go and add a single row. Oh, created a double row there. Let's just delete that. Add an element. So the first part in this is the logo. So we're going to grab our little logo. There it is. And it's huge. So we're going to bring this down in size. Like something like that. And now I'm going to add the second part, which is telephone number and the email address. So I'm just going to use a text block for this. Okay, it's Josephine. I know it's 18 regular. Okay, maybe it could do with being, let's up this a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go to 24. Okay, right, and I'm going to duplicate the last bit here, and this is for the last bit of text that we've got, which is, if we look at the site, you can see it's down here. And I'm going to make this bold. So after you've done this, we've made it bold. It's well worth you just going through the site and just making sure it's consistent, you know, that it actually, everything's working together and it's looking like it, like you want it to. So I'm going to click bold there. We're just going to save that off and then check. So you want to be looking at spacing between things, you know, are your buttons, you know, all consistent throughout the site? Are your headings consistent throughout the site? And these kind of things are things that you should be looking for. Like I noticed there, these are like tweaks that you might not have on the WordPress site, and you can just make it look a little bit better by just changing some of these things over. So I'm going to put that one in light, for instance. I would probably even think about changing this to another color as well, like something like that. So these are all things that you can just make it look a little bit better, a little bit more color going on there. And that is 55, but I'd probably bring it down a little bit to 45. And then so this is where I'm altering from what we've already got going on. And then in here, I think it should be a little bit bigger. So I'm actually going to make this 45 in here. That looks better to me. So I'm now sort of putting a little bit of a consistency over everything that's inside that page. So this is now going off of WordPress and just doing what I think would be better for the site. So we got that there, that's 50, that should be 45. So I'm going to match whatever we've got going on. I'll also pick that color, that nice color in there, and click save to that. And now we're going to have a look at it. So we got that bit down the bottom, all that stuff's in there. Let's hit the refresh and do our little comparison. So there we have it. We have the site. And if we look at that on first glance, if you were looking at that and you were looking at this site, let me go back. You wouldn't really, oh, what's going on? Okay, there we go. Let's get rid of that. You wouldn't really know you were on a different site if you were looking through this, you know, and then you went to this one, you'd think, oh, I'm actually on the same site. So I can see that Angela's already put her logo in there. This is the new logo that will replace this. So all Angela has to do is to go into here and just swap that logo out for the new one. I might do that now. I'm not sure how it's going to look, but I know she's uploaded it here. So I'm guessing she's got it in here somewhere, maybe not. Yeah, so she'll have to put that in there, but it's easy enough, drop it in there. But see how those colors play with this. You might need to change the background color to get it to stand out. You might need to change a few of these colors, but you can see how it works. You can see how we've now created this WordPress style site, and we've done it all inside Zenler. And of course, like everything else in Zenler, you can fine tune and tweak anything inside here. So if that's just a little bit too much of a gap there, you can bring all this up, and I might want to bring this up slightly just to condense everything, just make everything a little bit tighter inside the platform. So there we go, and bring that one down there, and there we go, and then save it. And that's it. So I'm going to check in the group, see if anyone's put any comments in here. Can see no one's got anything going on. So I know there's some people watching this, or you might want to watch it on the replay later. But that is how we can do it. So we've now created that site for Angela, and that is based from her WordPress site there. So guys, you know, also you can go in and add a little bit of animation to this as well. So if you want to, you can go in and create some animation effects, because I know we've got some of those applying on the WordPress site. So I want to just quickly show you how you can do that in here. So I'm going to jump back into the admin of the site. I'll just share my screen in a second. And we're going to add a little bit of animation. Now, the thing about animation is you don't want to get too carried away. You want to just do little subtle bits to catch your eye, you know. And we can do animation. Some things that WordPress does in there are different to how we do it in Zenler, but you can still add really good effects. So I'm going to go back into the site now here. I'm going to add a little bit of an effect to this button. So I want a little bit of effect just to capture. So if you go to pretty much all of the elements, even the blocks and the rows have this under settings, they have an animation area. So if you go down to the animation, you can pick from different animations. You can also delay when it starts. So that animation start, like if you land on the page, you might say 5 in there. So when you land on the page, someone lands on the page after 5 seconds, then it will animate. You can also get it to repeat its animation by doing intervals. So you can get it to sort of pulse or something at intervals. So let's do that now. Let's go in and choose one of these options in here. I've got pulse. So you can see that's pulsing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a delay there of 1 second, and then I'm going to say I want this to pulse every 3 seconds. And I can click save to that. And now if we check the page out, we go to preview, you're going to see when I land on the page, and after 1 second, that's going to come up. And now after 3 seconds, it's going to pulse again. There you go. And another 3 seconds, pulse again. So it adds a slight bit of animation that catches your eye. So you could then go in there and apply that to all instances of the buttons. Now you can get really carried away with this stuff. There's a lot of settings. And like I said, you've got the animation control on most places in the site. And you can do some really crazy things like bouncing. You can do expand in, so it expands in. You can do flashing, so it kind of flashes. And you've got some perspective shifts as well. So things actually turn like that. So you've got loads of different things to go in there and play around with. And they can really add a element to the site and make things just sort of pop out to people. So if I went into this one now, I could go in here and we choose the same setting, 1, 3, and then I'll choose pulse, and which is here. So that will pulse after 1 second there. Now you don't have to have the delay. You could turn the delay off if you wanted to. It's up to you. So if I apply that, consistency is key here. If you're applying one animation to one thing, then probably apply it to all of them. So again, if I go under the settings here, you'll see with the button, I have an animation down the bottom. So once again, I can find that pulse, which is down here, and I can say 3 and 1 in there to keep it consistent, and click save, and now that will be added to the site. So like I said, animation is available in most areas. If you look in the row here, you'll see you have an animation effect on the whole row. It will do the whole row. So if I did something like that, that's what would happen. So, and you can also even do it on the whole block. So if I choose the block and go into the gear icon, go under settings, you're going to see you have animation on the whole block. So block, row, element, animation. So very powerful thing that we've added inside of Zenler. So that brings us to the end of this live build. We're doing another one tomorrow. I know this was a bit short notice. I only put it on probably half an hour before we went live. Tomorrow we've got another live build, and it's a technical build. So it's actually with a guy that does animation. He's a puppeteer, so he does lots of puppetry work, and he wants to know some technical questions. His site is really good anyway, from a design point of view, but he wants to know technically how to get things working within the site. And he's got quite a few questions to ask. He's going to send me some more tonight, and we're going to be doing that at 9 a.m. really early because he's in Australia. And so yeah, we'll be doing it at 9 a.m. GMT time. So you guys that are watching this replay, that's what time that's going to go out tomorrow. Then also remember that at the end of the week on Friday, we have a day with Zenler. It's our last one before the last one of the year. And we've got lots of instructors on in the afternoon session. In the morning session, there's just me doing my bits. So I'm just going to do some fun things and answer some questions. So we have that going. Of course, we got office hours. We've got that at 10 a.m. on Wednesday this week. So it's all going on at the moment to bring us to round us up to the end of the year. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this live build, and this will go onto our YouTube channel. And of course, it will also be, you can watch it, put hashtag replay if you're watching on the replay, let us know. I've also put a little poll in there if you want to answer a little poll to this particular live. And yeah, I hope you've gained a lot from it. So that was building a WordPress homepage inside of Zenler with ease. Okay, guys. So I'm going to end this session now.